when a zoo employee threw a black boy into the lion enclosure. Everyone thought tragedy would strike, but no one could have predicted what would happen next. Subscribe and comment where you are watching this from. The early morning sunlight filtered through the curtains of the small, cozy apartment where the Wright family lived. This day had been planned out meticulously. Marcus Wright, along with his wife Diana and their young son Elijah, were about to embark on an outing that had been a long-promised dream. Today was Elijah's first trip to the zoo. For Marcus, it was also a personal milestone, a fulfillment of a childhood dream his parents could never afford. Breakfast was lively. Elijah, barely able to sit still, was practically buzzing with excitement. His endless questions about lions, tigers, and elephants filled the air as he fidgeted in his chair. In preparation for the big day, Elijah had packed his small backpack the night before, complete with a water bottle, his favorite superhero figurine, and a worn-out picture book about wild animals. Diana's heart warmed as she watched her son's joy, but she and Marcus exchanged a look that carried an unspoken concern. The Wrights were no strangers to lingering glances and whispered judgments, whether at the grocery store or waiting at the bus stop. As a proud and loving family, they refused to let prejudice dictate their lives, but they remained aware of its shadow. 040, determined to make the most of their outing. Marcus held Elijah's hand a little tighter as they left their apartment. They climbed into their car and drove to the zoo, filling the ride with lively chatter and Elijah's endless list of animals to see. Starting with lions, his absolute favorite, Marcus chuckled, recalling the countless evenings he'd spent with Elijah flipping through the animal book and mimicking the sounds of lions roaring. Upon arrival, the zoo was a bustling hub of families, laughter, and the cacophony of animals. Elijah's excitement hit new heights as they purchased their tickets. Marcus noticed a staff member nearby, whose name tag read Edwards, eyeing them with a frown. Used to dismissing such moments, Marcus brushed it off and guided his family inside. #####, the day unfolds. The Wright family wandered from exhibit to exhibit, marveling at tropical birds in the aviary and massive snakes in the reptile house. Elijah's laughter was infectious, and Diana captured countless moments on her camera. They broke for snacks and then continued to the highlight of the day, the lion enclosure. Elijah pressed his hands against the tall glass walls surrounding the lion exhibit, his eyes wide with wonder as he watched the majestic creatures basking in the sun. The largest male lion locked eyes with Elijah for a brief moment, sparking awe in the young boy's heart. But amidst the joy, Marcus couldn't ignore the unsettling presence of Edwards. The man seemed to follow them from exhibit to exhibit, his cold gaze lingering on the family. Marcus's protective instincts kicked in, and Diana noticed his unease. "Let's keep moving," she whispered, squeezing his arm. They strolled toward a picnic area to take a breather, but Edwards's watchful eyes were never far away. Despite Marcus's resolve to not let anything ruin the day, his tension mounted. ####, the shove. As they approached the lion enclosure for a final look, disaster struck. Edwards, seething with hostility, took deliberate action. With a sharp, forceful shove, he pushed Elijah into the enclosure. Time seemed to freeze as Elijah's small body tumbled over the edge. Marcus and Diana's screams pierced the air as they watched their son fall. The crowd erupted in chaos, gasping and yelling in horror. Marcus lunged forward, but it was too late. Elijah was already in the lion's territory. The boy lay motionless for a moment before slowly pushing himself up, his wide eyes locked onto the massive lion, who had risen to its feet, its amber gaze fixed on him. Elijah froze, paralyzed by fear. Above, Marcus shouted instructions to stay still. Diana clung to him, her sobs shaking her frame. The lion approached Elijah with deliberate steps, its muscles rippling with every movement. The boy's terror was evident, but so was his bravery. He stood rooted to the spot, his father's words echoing in his mind. Be brave, even when you're scared. As the crowd held its breath, the unthinkable happened. The lion lowered its head and gently sniffed Elijah. Then, in an astonishing moment of connection, the creature nuzzled Elijah's small hand. The boy, trembling but unhurt, extended his hand and touched the lion's mane. Hashtag rescue and aftermath. Zoo staff arrived, coaxing the lion back with tranquilizers and retrieving Elijah from the enclosure. The boy was unharmed. Though shaken, Marcus and Diana enveloped him in a tearful embrace, their relief immeasurable. The crowd cheered and applauded, amazed by the miraculous encounter they had just witnessed. But Marcus's relief was tainted with rage. He knew Edwards was responsible and vowed to hold him accountable. In the days that followed, Marcus and Diana contacted a lawyer, determined to seek justice. The zoo's management suspended Edwards, and an investigation uncovered a troubling pattern of complaints against him. Public outrage mounted, with calls for systemic changes at the zoo. Elijah struggled with nightmares but showed remarkable resilience. He spoke often about the lion, not with fear, but with awe. Hashtag a family's resolve. The Wright family's fight for justice culminated in a high-profile trial. Edwards faced charges of reckless endangerment, and the zoo implemented sweeping reforms. Throughout the ordeal, Marcus and Diana's love for Elijah and their determination to protect him kept them strong. One day, as they visited the zoo under safer circumstances, Elijah stood before the lion enclosure once again. The same lion lay in the shade, its amber eyes meeting Elijah's from afar. The boy smiled, whispering, "Thank you." Marcus placed a reassuring hand on his son's shoulder. "You've always been brave, Elijah. Never forget that." As they left, Marcus and Diana felt an overwhelming sense of pride. Their family had faced unimaginable challenges and emerged stronger. Through courage, love, and perseverance, they had triumphed, finding hope in the face of adversity. Thank you for watching our story. If you enjoyed it and want to see more, subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to click the bell to stay updated and explore other inspiring stories on our channel. Thank you for being with us.